This is probably one of the most creepy situations I've ever talked about, and of course it comes from the streaming world. I'm sure you've all seen at this point the critical video going into detail about the Pokimane situation, but, you know, one thing people need to learn about the internet, it gets worse. It gets so much worse. Now, I'm sure you're aware that all over Twitch, there are numerous female streamers. And the problem is when you're a woman on the internet, you do tend to attract the undesirables, the degenerates, the people that tip, believing that that tip, that transaction of money, somehow it is like a transaction in marriage. You genuinely have these people that will donate or sub insane amounts of money towards a female Twitch streamer, thinking that they're making some kind of friendship, or worse, somehow it's like initiating a date. We all joke about, you know, the Pokimane tier 3 sub that gives half of their rent and life savings away to please milady, and we all point and laugh and go ha ha, and then we say the S word at them, SIMP. But the thing is, there is a much darker side to that, where people end up becoming harassive, abusive, and just straight up stalkers, and that isn't really talked about. There are people, for example, that constantly try to get the attention of streamers, especially female streamers, and when they're timed out or banned by the mods, they then take that as a personal insult that they have to right all wrongs. It's almost like they go from Batman and Avenger of the Night, they turn into the Joker, that they become evil. I get it. The internet is full of the mentally ill, and no matter what situation, you will always have someone that donates to a female streamer, and then they imagine in their head riding away in a giant carved out onion like the ending of Shrek. Emiru, for example, a very popular Twitch streamer, she was basically forced to move to Austin, Texas in fear for her life because of a stalker, and that stalker was actually put away in a mental hospital.
The guy who was stalking me and I basically moved here because of has been institutionalized. He is in a long-term mental hospital, so like he's not like in jail or anything. He's not gonna be there forever, but like it was just like a big weight off my chest hearing that, I guess.
It really sucks watching that clip because you can see the relief on her face that, you know, she doesn't have to deal with like this piece of shit anymore. And now, I'm sure as many of you have seen, Pokimane has came out on stream in like a 20-minute or so video talking about how there was someone behind the scenes that was well known within the Twitch sphere, not a streamer, probably more of a manager brand type person, that would use Pokimane's fans and weaponize them against her. He would falsify screenshots, send the fans gifts to try and like earn their trust. All of this just with the ulterior motive to try to get closer to Pokimane.
Leaking privileged information he gathered from his job, as well as threatening to harm himself if these girls turned against him. To my face, this person was always very professional and kind. He is well networked in the industry. He knows many streamers. He has helped us with many things. This was someone that we were genuinely grateful for their help.
So, like she said, this was someone that was actually very well respected in the sphere. They weren't some, you know, little like degenerate like Quasimodo just there in the corner. Like people were throwing like rotten fruit at him. Honestly, at this point, you could get an intern at Twitch and they would probably have a 3-hour power trip 3 times a day. I know I've gone on to say this too many times, but obviously like my own personal experience with Twitch, I tried to get partner with them. I was an affiliate. They kept denying me for like really weird reasons, saying like, you're a YouTuber. Too many of your views are coming from YouTube, which is exactly what you'd want. You would want views from other platforms to kind of integrate them. But anyways, and then after I applied for a 3rd or 4th time, they just ignored me. They blanked me. It usually takes them about a week to 2 weeks to respond. They just never responded, and I think it was like 3 to 4 months. So then I went over to the American side of Twitch to try and get in contact with them. Someone at the British office did not like that one bit, and they basically did everything but ban me. They couldn't ban me because I feel it's all but confirmed now that someone at Twitch really did not like me, but they couldn't ban me on like, you know, personal preference or opinion, so they did the next best thing. They soft banned me, so I could not make any money off Twitch apart from donations. There was no sub button, no verification badge. It was all taken away. My point being, in that Twitch sphere, or more importantly behind the scenes, the more like managerial roles of people, it really wouldn't surprise me that there was like some higher level corruption there.
He acted like he knew and hung out with me and my friends in person. This is someone I've never met. I've never hung out with them, let alone had any relationship with past, talking about only work-related things. I did not have sexual relations with this man.
The thing is, I've watched this a couple of times. No one's noticed this. I don't even think Critical noticed it when he went over it. But that little meme she threw in there, you know, like in the past, I've never had sexual relations with that man. She's doing a Bill Clinton bit, even to the, you know, the little finger wagging. I respect it, you know, putting a meme in a very serious video. I've done that in the past. The thing is with Bill Clinton, he said that and he was caught lying. So I'm not saying Pokimane's lying. I completely believe her 100%. I just think it's probably not the best joke to reference. But yeah, more on the creepy manager stalker guy. I think once he kind of realized, okay, I will never actually be able to take Pokimane's hand in marriage, he then settled with the fans, trying to reach out to them instead. I'm still unsure why Pokimane left this guy's name out. I mean, honestly, he probably watched this video, he was shitting himself, and then realized, wait a minute, Pokimane never said my name. And then he did like the most comedically sized sigh of all time, wiping the sweat from his forehead. I get it. You know, by naming him, you're involving the victims and the cluster, it becomes a lot bigger. I get that. But the problem is now, unless Pokimane's, you know, dealing with it behind the scenes and like contacting every person to not work with this guy, which she did imply in the video to be fair, then he could just run away, find the new scene and then do it all over again. But I'm happy that Pokimane could talk about that situation. But one situation that I actually haven't seen anyone talk about at the minute is Amouranth. Now, as you all know, a couple months ago, Amouranth was in some huge drama. Her boyfriend at the time was calling her during a stream, just being flat out abusive, and you can see her tearing up, and it's a really hard watch.
Why are you pausing? You didn't ask a question. You said a statement. Did you say that? No?
I'm trying to tell you
Are
what
you
I
saying you did not say that? Are you saying you did not say that?
Now, what's happened to her recently is it's even worse. She tweeted out that she was at a press conference. Her team notified her that a stalker that she's had from over a year from Estonia had basically came back and tried to break into her house. Apparently, he tried to sneak in with some of the house staff, but thankfully they, you know, sussed that he was a bit odd, so they shut the door in his face. Most people would be like, okay, I tried to see the YouTuber, I tried to see the Twitch streamer, I give up. This guy didn't. He came back 4 hours later, was pacing around in front of a house for 20 minutes, only to leave a package with a key, like he's turning in a side quest. Here's a picture of the guy, by the way, looking like one of the playable characters in Sons of the Forest. I mean, he's even wearing the same stuff. He's got an all black jacket, he's got a black backpack, and he's holding what looks like the starting hatchet in case he wanted to cut down a tree and make a log cabin to save. But yeah, overall, these situations, they are scary. I mean, the Emiru one I talked about at the beginning, that one's like 7 months old to be fair. But this Pokimane one, this happened recently. And the Amouranth one, at the time of recording, it happened today. Like, I know this is a channel where I go haha funny at the women like 90% of the time. I mean, my audience at the minute is a complete sausage fest. I think checking my gender ratios, 8% of you are female. And that is like, I have checked other like UK channels and it's basically like 50-50. But over here, it is a sausage fest. Like, you guys look up to Ryan Gosling. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, by the way, but yeah, my point being, obviously I do make a lot of jokes at the expense of women, like, haha, women funny. But this shit's scary, man. It really is. And it goes to show that, like, with these women, no matter how much money and fame and power you have, I mean, Amouranth, for example, she's talking about having house staff, like probably maids and stuff. Like, the girl is buying up like gas stations every other month. She's fucking minted. She'll have more money in her life than I make in a week. Sorry, I meant to say she would make more in a week than I'd make in my life. I only make about 3 to 4 billion a month. So yeah, there's a huge disparity. But yeah, it just goes to show that no matter how much wealth you have, it almost makes it makes you more of a target. You become more of a magnet to even more degenerates. You can hire as much security as you want, as much enforcement as you want, but you will still have people that, unfortunately, they are mentally ill and they just see it as a challenge. But yeah, I salute to all the female streamers on Twitch, wishing you the best. It's a shit situation.